way most people go about it. They use more brains picking a horse in the third at Belmont than they do picking a husband. Of course I want to get married again.
Well, I'm surprised you'd ever want to get married again.
Oh, but that's the point about this whole setup.
Do they really?
It's your head you've got to use, not your heart.
Oh, I see.
In this video, we will be exploring the most pragmatic nakshatra, particularly in matters related to love and marriage. A nakshatra that can behave in an almost cynical way in matters of romance, and that is suspicious of passion, as it believes it to be fleeting and not stable enough a quality to invest in for the long-term health of a union.
I'm gonna get married.
Married?
Yes, and I'm gonna marry somebody that is somebody.
But Edie, suppose you fall in love with some poor guy.
Love?
Oh, love is a bigger thing than money, Edie.
I'm not married for love. And it's pretty hard for me to take any stock in it after what happened to her.
But after all, you know, those New York big shots aren't going to be down at the train to meet us.
No, but I'm gonna meet them if I have to dynamite Park Avenue.
Uttara Phalguni nakshatra epitomizes the practice of hypergamy, a term known more commonly as marrying up or dating up.
Besides, I'm only going to marry an eligible bachelor. You see, I'm going to marry my boss, whoever he may be. You're a modern. Thoroughly. I am a working girl and a boob.
Well, there's certainly nothing wrong with being a working girl. I was a working girl myself in the chorus, but I wasn't a boob.
No, you married well, and that's exactly my plan, and I've got to stick to it.
Jimmy told me your plans, Millie, to marry your boss. Love has nothing to do with it.
Yes, ma'am, I'm a modern.
You're a boob.
The term Uttara Phalguni refers to the later pleasures of a relationship and is more practically oriented than the more passionate Purva Phalguni, which refers to the initial joys of a relationship. The natives of this nakshatra are therefore concerned with such things as class, status, and wealth, as well as the future of their union.
Besides, how was I to know he wouldn't take it without the money?
Don't pretend to be a child because it suits you.
Do you think she would have been happy with a fortune hunter?
She might have been. I was.
Feeling versus calculation would describe the opposing approaches towards love between both the Phalgunis. One often finds Uttara Phalguni well represented in period dramas, movies, and television series based on the past, and particularly we find this nakshatra contextualized within the nobility, which makes sense since it relates to the noble class given that it is Kshatriya.
Let's agree, it's a brilliant match. Madeline's French, so there's no question of her family's loyalty. Very wealthy.
But not royal, so they're hungry for power.
They'll pay for it.
That's only right to accept the support of one's loyal subjects.
And she has a giraffe. Well, Madeline's widely traveled. She's come from far away by ship.
Do I get a giraffe too?
The moment she's your bride.
I have to marry well for my family's sake. My parents made that very clear to me. The only way to rise in the world is through land and title. And for people like us, the only way to achieve these things is to marry them.
So love has, no place in your life?
They should have been there when they saw me off to France. They looked at me the way my father looks at an investment, wondering if I'll fail or pay off.
Well, I'm sorry you have to live this way.
I shouldn't. Nor should you. You're a servant. Nothing can ever happen between us.
24 years ago, you married Cora against my wishes for her money. Give it away now. What was the point of your peculiar marriage in the first place?
If I were to tell you she'd made me very happy, would that stretch belief?
It's not why you chose her.
Family, an old one.
Older than yours, I imagine.
Old enough.
And there's plenty of money.
Really?
Mamma, you've already looked him up in the stud books and made inquiries about the fortune. Don't pretend otherwise.
Mary won't take Matthew Crawley, so we'd better get her settled before the bloom is quite gone off the rose.
Perhaps Mr. Montgomery couldn't manage another date.
It starts at 3:30. We'll be home before 6 with plenty of time to get ready.
I can't come. I won't be able to leave the house that day.
Then Gladys can go with Miss Brooke. She'll have been invited.
But will Miss Brooke protect her from men I don't approve of?
Honestly, Mother, you say I'm not to speak to men you don't approve of, but you don't approve of anyone.
The Uttara Phalguni woman may differ from various other types of women in that she is less swayed by flirtation and remains solid and unmoved even in the projected heat of passion from a potential suitor.
It's great, isn't it?
Oh, it's swell.
And it could get better and better all the time. We could be together every day and
Oh, no, we couldn't.
Why not?
Because I invested every dime I have in the world to come down here and marry a millionaire.
But you mean T.R. Page?
Well, why not?
Oh, but Edie, he's...
Oh, I know. He's old and he's a bear and he's probably crooked as a corkscrew. But I like him and he's got plenty of dough.
It isn't the money that counts. It's being together with somebody you can be crazy about. Do you think life with some moth-eaten millionaire would be anything like the fun you and I could have?
I told you I'm not out for fun. Ah! Give me my bath key. I've been on the level with you, Tom. Why can't you be a pal?
Good, sir. Your husband had told me you were the most beautiful woman that he'd ever met. I didn't expect the most beautiful woman I'd ever met.
Dismiss your vows, your feigned tears, your flattery. For where a heart is hard, they make no battery.
She maintains her composure and does not falter even when up against the most charming, most seductive men, because she is suspicious of romance and instead is more focused on what she believes are the true, long-lasting values of a relationship: money and status.
Secrets. That's not why I came here. I came here to tell you what a wonderful time I had in New Orleans.
Marcus,
and what?
hon, I don't think that we should do this in the office.
What?
I really don't.
Stop bugging. Hey, I got a couple of hours off. I can get up top of the desk and get fresh and go crazy.
Listen. You're not getting serious on me, are you?
Talking about am I getting serious? What is that?
Well, you know, where you want this to grow into a relationship where, God, we're together all the time, stuff like that.
Where some women value passion and romance and are easily enchanted by whispers of sweet nothings by men who want nothing more than to take advantage of them, the Uttara Phalguni, which exists within the virgin sign of Virgo, is the least susceptible to falling under the lies and deception of womanizing men. She's the most naturally resistant to the delusions of infatuation.
I do. My family has spent a fortune all to see me land the right man. It's all they care about. It's all I've been raised to do, and if I'm linked to you, that will never happen. There's a girl here whose reputation was ruined over the love for a royal. Imagine if that had been a kitchen boy. I'm sorry, but the shame.
I understand. I'll leave you be.
As infatuation is not truly love, but a state of passionate confusion. The Uttara Phalguni woman is the most upfront regarding her practical and hypergamous tendencies. There is a famous movie regarding hypergamy that I would like to explore. That is, Gentlemen Prefer Blondes. The movie was based on the Broadway play of the same name, and this Broadway play originally starred the Uttara Phalguni ascended native, Carol Channing, in the lead role of Lorelei, a practical girl from a poor background who was determined to marry a rich man and put love aside for that purpose.
But Miss Channing, money isn't everything. Which would you rather marry, a young man with no money or an old man with a lot of money?
I'd like a young man with a lot of old money.
Now, the play was originally written by the Uttarashada Moon native Joseph Fields, and I reference Uttarashada and even Kritika because they also partake of the very practical and hypergamous nature of Uttara Phalguni, but not to the same extent. Finally, when the actual movie was produced, it was directed by the Uttara Ashada native Howard Hawks, so the movie itself carries the objective, practical, and hypergamous themes of Uttara Phalgunis and the other sun nakshatras.
I like a man who can run faster than I can.
I hate to think where you'll wind up. You're wasting all your time on unrefined persons without any money.
Honey, did it ever occur to you that some people just don't care about money?
Please don't be silly. We're talking serious. You don't want to end up with a loveless marriage, do you?
Me? Loveless?
That's right. Because if a girl's spending all of her time worrying about the money she doesn't have,
How is she going to have any time for being in love? I want you to find happiness and stop having fun. That baffles me.
Many of the most famous lines and songs in the movie were first said and sung by the Uttara Phalguni native Carol Channing herself.
A kiss on the hand may be quite continental, but diamonds are a girl's best friend. A kiss may be grand, but it won't pay the rental on your humble flat, or help you at the automat. Men grow cold as girls grow old, and we all lose our charms in the end. But
Now, Miss Piggy, that's what I wanted to tell you about. A kiss on the hand may be quite continental, but diamonds are a girl's best friend. A kiss may be grand, but it won't pay the rental on your humble flat, or help you at the automat. Men grow cold as girls grow old, and we all lose our charms in the end. But square or pear shape, these rocks don't lose their shape. There may come a time when a lass needs a lawyer, but diamonds are a girl's best friend. There may come a time when a hard-boiled employer thinks you're awful nice, but get that ice or else no dice. He's your guy when stocks go high, but beware when they start to descend. It's then that those louses go back to their spouses. Diamonds are a girl's best friend.
Of course, Venus is debilitated in Virgo, which does come with many negative connotations, but also several good connotations. Venus relates to attraction, passion, but also relates to infatuation. Infatuation and love differ in one fundamental way. Infatuation is based on fantasy, whereas love is based on truth. Venus being debilitated in Virgo suggests that this sign does not suffer from the delusions of infatuation as often as the other signs, and this applies especially to Uttara Phalguni, which is the most practical in matters of love. It is interesting that, though Uttara Phalguni is related to how men pursue women and the various strategies that men employ to attract and seduce women, what we find in many of these Uttara Phalguni examples are the various strategies employed by women to attract and entrap men in marriage.
Not good enough.
What'd you say?
I said they're not good enough for him. Every Jane in the room was giving him the thermometer, and he feels they're just a waste of time. He's returning to his book. He's deeply immersed in it. He sees no one except... Watch his head turn when that kid goes by. She recognizes you. She's up. She's down. She can't make up her mind. She's up again. She recognizes you. She's coming over to speak to you. The suspense is killing me. Why, for heaven's sake, aren't you Fuzzy Old Hammer I went to manual training school with in Louisville? Oh, you're not? Well, you certainly look exactly like him. It's certainly a remarkable resemblance. But if you're not going to ask me to sit down, I suppose you're not going to ask me to sit down. I'm very sorry. I certainly hope I haven't caused you any embarrassment, you so-and-so. You just can't stand it anymore. You're leaving. These women don't give you a moment's peace, do they? Well, go ahead. Go sulk in your cabin. Go soak your head and see if I care.
I'm very sorry, sir. That's all right.
Why don't you look where you're going?
Why don't I look?
Look what you did to my shoe. You knocked the heel off.
Oh, I did? Well, I'm certainly sorry.
You didn't. You can just take me right down to my cabin for another pair of slippers.
Oh, well, certainly. I guess it's the least I can do. By the way, my name's Pike.
Oh, everybody knows that. Nobody's talking about anything else. This is my father, Colonel Harrington. My name is Jean. It's really Eugenia. Come on. Funny our meeting like this, isn't it?
Yes, isn't it?
William, I chose you because I thought I could help you get to the top. I did not plan on dragging you there kicking and screaming.
Okay, first of all, I chose you.
Actually, darling, I was at a party McDonald was hosting and heard Sweetelson mention your name. I did a little research, found out you frequent the Blue Bar.
But I came up to you. Now, how did you know I would do that?
Please. Every straight man in that bar came up to me. And a couple of lesbians. And a gay guy who didn't want to feel left out, okay?
So all this time you've been lying to me about how we met?
And what does it matter? We're together now.
Is your master about?
My master?
Yes, Mr. Cousins. Where is he?
Oh, my master. Mr. Cousins, you'll find him in there, miss.
This is a very charming home. Mr. Cousins' wife must have lovely taste.
Oh, Mr. Cousins isn't married, miss.
Oh, he isn't.
No. And he's very partial to blondes.
Have you been drinking?
Mm-hmm. Let's you and me have a little snifter.
Say, what do you take me for?
What do you think?
Maybe that'll teach you to keep your place. Oh, Mr. Cousins, I didn't know you were in here. Perhaps I'm interrupting you. Were you doing something important?
No, nothing important.
Well, then what are you doing in here with that grand party going on outside? You know, you must be the happiest man in the world.
Why should you think that?
Well, because you've got everything, a beautiful home and engaged to be married.
No. I'm not engaged.
You aren't. How did a good-looking thing like you ever escape?
Well, perhaps because I never met you.
Well, we've met now, haven't we?
Will you have a cigarette?
No, I never smoke.
Oh, no minor vices, eh?
Mr. Cousins, people always think showgirls are wild, but take me, for instance. For all the time I've been on Broadway, I'm just the same girl as when I left home.
Sorry.
Is the prey. The Uttara Phalguni woman also develops her charm, develops and cultivates her femininity to pull men, whereas the Purva Phalguni male is interested in gaining and understanding of female psychology in order to better understand and attract her. We find that the Uttara Phalguni female is interested in gaining an understanding of male psychology in order to understand and entrap him. In many of these examples, we find that it is the female Uttara Phalguni that is a pursuer, the initiator, though she possesses enough guile and cleverness to make it seem as though she is the passive one. She understands what to say and how to position herself that the male feel inspired to take action. Many of these women are actually not just interested in wealthy men, but again, men of high status and high culture, men who have the potential of gaining high status as well.
William?
Si, bambina.
Why haven't you checked your office?
Because I'm on vacation. With the most bella donna in the world.
Well, when I'm on vacation with an important man, I'm always more comfortable when that important man checks his office. Because if they can run it without him, he's not that important.
You know, don't you?
Know what?
Nothing.
William, what's going on at your office? Why are we in Italy and why are you so nervous?
Because my Italian's very shaky. I mean, my Italiano is molto shaky.
William.
I quit. I didn't make partners, so I quit. I've been out of the firm for about 2 weeks now. I wanted to tell you, it's just... I've never been with a woman like you. You know, you're sophisticated and you're beautiful, and I thought if I told you, I'd lose you. Have I?
It's been fun. Enjoy the rest of your trip. Ciao.
She wants men who are intelligent, men who have successful careers, or who have concrete potential to have successful careers.
이번이 마지막이야. 이번에 또 떨어지면 선배 다시는 안 볼 거야.
It is a difficult choice that many Uttara Phalguni women feel they must make. The choice between the sort of man that excites her and a sort of man that accomplishes all of her economic and social goals. She does her best to resist giving in to passion, for she believes it to be fleeting, and yet passion pulls on her heartstrings. Whereas Uttara Phalguni represents the reddish woman, burning with desire, Uttara Phalguni is where the fire of desire starts to die out, and so it is natural that these natives reflect upon the true value and merits of giving oneself over to excitement. It is often noted by historians that the sort of families that maintain their wealth and status throughout generations are the ones who make sure to marry not only within their same economic level, but indeed within their own social class. Of course, it is commonly known that marriages between cousins is common within royal families, to show the extent to which it is believed and even proven that wealth and power is maintained mostly when those of the same class unite in marriage. Now, there are three nakshatras that one often finds associated with the gold digger trope: Uttara Phalguni, Dhanishta, and as Claire Nocti has extensively explored, Mula Nakshatra and the other Ketu Nakshatras more generally. Going forward, it would be important to understand the different methods employed by each of these nakshatras and the different reasons why they all engage in this sort of behavior. Uttara Phalguni falls in the gold digger trope simply because she prioritizes the long-term benefits of a marriage and union, which include status and wealth. Ketu nakshatras fall into the trope because, as Claire Nocti represents them, they are often ignorant of the material world and end up totally dependent on those with a better grasp of material reality. It's interesting that one of the symbols of Magha nakshatra is the palanquin, which serves to symbolize that these natives are not fit to do manual labor and instead they are carried around and find ways of getting other people to do their work for them. Then we have Dhanishta, that is overall concerned with personal advancement and sees relationships of all kinds as useful towards that end. What we find is even Uttara Phalguni mothers tend to be concerned with the prospect of their children, as they take a hands-on approach in the mate selection of their children and grandchildren, concerning themselves with how much money or status their children's prospects possess.
I want to know what you think you're doing with a woman twice your age and ill-suited for you in so many other respects I haven't got time to list them.
I like Mrs. Blaine.
When there are countless charming and suitable young ladies for you to pursue.
Susan Blaine appeals to me mostly because she's quite unlike those suitable young ladies. And I'm fairly certain you don't want me to elaborate on
Other young men deal with these things without causing comment.
Yes, they go to prostitutes. Would you prefer me to do the same?
I prefer there to be no scandal.
I can't believe this. Susan Blaine is a decent woman.
Decent women don't sleep with men young enough to be their son.
This one does!
Keep your voice down!
We also find Uttara Phalguni involved in marriage negotiations between families, particularly in discussion of dowries or prenuptial agreements.
And while I realize a prenup is a delicate subject...
No, there is nothing delicate about this. This is not emotional. This is business.
Actually, this is about my marriage to Aiden, so not business.
This legacy will still belong to him, so you understand why we will not allow you to waltz in and reap the benefits.
I'm not marrying Aiden for his money. I'm marrying him because I love him. I'm not signing the prenup. And it's not because I want to take anyone's money, but because I plan on staying married to Aiden for the rest of my life. That's how seriously I take this commitment.
To further emphasize the extent to which Uttara Phalguni natives are non-emotional or less shaken by emotion than others, we can even consider chess players. Now, what is interesting in the chart of male chess players is that there is no single nakshatra that is most prominent. We see Dhanishta, Ashwini, Jyeshta, and various other nakshatras well represented. But, interestingly, when we look at the charts of the most recognized female chess players, or female grandmasters, we see that the most common nakshatras are by far the sun nakshatras, with Uttara Phalguni being one of the most prominent. Now, there are 42 female chess players who hold the title of Grand Master, the highest title awarded by the International Chess Foundation. The Grand Master title was formally established by FIDE in 1950, and this small number is mostly due to the fact that only recently has female chess been taken more seriously. Though this is in many ways a sad fact, it makes studying these charts that much easier for we, again, see the dominance of Sun Nakshatra women in this field. To go down the list of some of the most prominent names, we have Alexandra Botez, who has one of the most well-known YouTube channels related to chess. We have Yifan Hu, who is considered the second strongest female chess player in history. Her first women's world title came at 16 years of age, 3 years after becoming the youngest female grandmaster in history. Peng Zhaoqin, who tied for first with Alexandra Kostenluik, an Uttara woman at the European Women's Chess Championship of 2004. We have Maria Muzichuk, who is an Ukrainian chess grandmaster and women's world chess champion from April 2015 to March 2016. She is also a twice women's champion of Ukraine. We have Monika Soko, who is a Polish chess player who holds the FIDE title of Grandmaster and Women Grandmaster. We have Olga Alexandrova, who is another Uttara Phalguni native, who is a Ukrainian-born Spanish chess player who holds the FIDE title of International Master and Women Grandmaster. And we also have Ildiko Madl. Now, despite the high performance and high prominence of all these sun nakshatras in the field of female chess, it seems that the Uttara was the most significant of the big three placements. And though Mercury and Saturn both have strategic natures, it is ultimately Saturn that is the planet of prediction, and it predicts future events and consequences, and so is ultimately the most strategic.
How many of them did it with finesse? Now everybody like she really is the best. You played checkers, couldn't beat me playing chess. Now I'm about to turn around and beat my chest.
To be strategic, you must be something of a slow thinker, slow to contemplate, and to think very deliberately. Mystically, the feminine elements are water and earth, the slowest, most contemplative, that are the most intimately tied with the terrestrial plane, whereas the male elements of fire and air, according to various traditions, including Hinduism and Hermetic Kabbalah, belong in the more abstract planes. The feminine way of thinking is traditionally thought to be more holistic, as they are better at considering multiple factors outside of themselves, better than the tunnel vision style of thinking of their male counterparts. Women often take into account other people and the reactions of other people and various other factors in their environment first before even coming to a decision. One quality one needs to be strategic is to be calm. For a calm mind can think more deliberately and more expansively without the influence of emotions like fear, anxiety, or hurry. The slowness and emotional neutrality of Uttara Phalguni, who does not give in to neuroticism, is conducive to a calm thinking style. So we are seeing that the Uttara Phalguni is a very powerful and important nakshatra for women that teaches them how to make the best decisions in general, but specifically in the realm of choosing a partner, where a lot of people are very susceptible to falling into pressures like anxiety or passion.
You can play brand new to all the other chicks out here, but I know what you are.
Where many people are very susceptible to falling victim of their own emotionality, whether it's from passion or anxiety, etc. To excel at such games as chess, an individual must learn how to not allow themselves to give in to such emotions as hurry or pressure, as the game is something of an exercise, or better yet, a proof of emotional control. Whereas a typical woman is more easily taken over by neuroticism and is easily seduced by men who pretend to want them seriously but only use them and discard them, Uttara Phalguni benefits greatly from the significations of the sign of Virgo, which is a sign that represents the triumph of the intellect over feeling, as it is the exaltation of Mercury and the debilitation of the planet Venus. The sort of person that is easily given to emotional extremes is a sort that is more easily emotionally manipulated. The planet Venus is of course associated with the god Cupid or Eros and his various iterations across cultures. It is said of Kamadeva, which is the Vedic Cupid, that he is the inflamer of the heart and that he is the one who agitates the mind. Because the power of Venus and the power of romance and eroticism is to shake the mind and to make it unstable. But what is interesting about the planet Mercury and its rulership over the earth element is that it is resistant to emotional manipulation and the various mental instabilities that come from romance. The god Cupid is perceived as traveling in the air and assaulting individuals with passion. Actually, even the Vedic Cupid, Kamadeva, is said to also travel through the airs, as one of his names is He Who Is Without a Body. As he was incinerated by Shiva, he took on the form of gas. Curiously enough, it is said of Mercury that he controls and dissipates the air elements, as the element of earth pacifies the air elements. So we're seeing that the energies of planet Mercury work against infatuation, work against emotional manipulation, work against neuroticism. The sign of Virgo represents a woman who consciously chooses to remain virginal, specifically for spiritual purposes, and so she is most resistant to these airy spirits, these airy entities that travel behind the curtain of the wind and whisper sweet nothings to women. Uttara Phalguni is then a very protective nakshatra for women, as it keeps them from being taken advantage of by unserious and untrustworthy men, ensuring that they select the best partner. Virgo is also the most earthy of all the earth signs, owing to its rulership of the earth-ruled Mercury, making it again naturally resistant to seduction and the delusions of infatuation. Since the Uttara Phalguni and Uttarashada woman dominate the arena of female chess, we can extrapolate other personality and intellectual traits of these Sun Nakshatra women by studying the characteristics of top chess players and what it means for a person to be great at chess. Of course, top chess players have strong memories, as well as strong pattern recognition skills. Top chess players are very good at calculation and have a natural ability with mathematical and logical disciplines. Top chess players are patient, are slow to make decisions, and evaluate the risk and rewards of different decisions. One of the reasons the Uttara Phalguni native wishes to get married is to move up in the world and to gain status and prestige themselves. They see partnership as an easy and quick way to achieve this. This is a nakshatra related to matchmaking and to marriages of convenience, especially in the world of the elite and upper class. But we actually find various media examples of media stories of two people getting together, not because they actually love each other or feel passionately towards one another, but because they recognize the power that each one offers and is willing to get together to maximize their potential. Such famous movie examples include The Proposal, with Uttara Phalguni native Ryan Reynolds, who pretends to be engaged to his boss so she isn't deported and to assist her in her career goals.
This isn't about my second raise, is it?
Margaret, your visa application is denied. You're being deported.
Deported? It's not like I'm an immigrant or something. I'm from Canada.
If you're deported, you can't work for an American company.
If there was any way at all that we could make this thing work.
Pardon the interruption.
I understand the predicament, but there is something that you should know. We're getting married.
Who is getting married?
You and I are getting married. Yes.
We are.
Getting married. Yes. Can't fight a love like ours. So, are we good?
Make it all legal and we'll put this whole thing behind us.
We have Uttara Phalguni native Christina Milian in the cult movie Love Don't Cost a Thing, where a socially unsuccessful boy makes a deal with her in exchange that she pretend to be his girlfriend so that he can gain status and popularity.
She's like a frappuccino with hips. Chicks like Paris don't date outside the NBA.
Take your time. Give everyone a chance to envy.
Do you have any idea how much that's gonna cost?
$3,000? I'm dead.
Not necessarily.
You can fix it?
Just pretend to be my girlfriend.
Why would you want people to think that I'm your girl?
It'll make me popular.
All right, 1 week. And don't even look at my booty.
We have the movie One Small Hitch, starring Uttara Phalguni native Arby Dollar.
Why would you tell your parents that we are engaged?
This is the best wedding gift you could give to your mom.
No, you don't need to give me anything.
It's from your grandma.
If we're trying to convince your mom and everybody else that we're engaged, an engagement ring is a good place to start.
I'm not wearing your dead grandmother's stunning VVS1 1.75 carat princess cut diamond engagement ring.
We're the Millers, starring the Uttara Phalguni native Jason Sudeikis, who is a man who pretends not only to be married, but to have a whole family of actors to lend him a cover as he conducts his illegal businesses.
How would you like to make 10 grand?
Drug dealing?
It's not drug dealing, it's smuggling. Me crossing the border alone? Huge red flag. But families, hi! They don't get a second look. So I need you to be my wife. Come on! Look, I hired this dork that lives in my building and a little gutter punk. Kenny, meet your new sister.
I've always wanted a sister.
Get it off of me.
We just have to dress up like a squeaky clean all-American family.
From rags to riches, pack the bag and ditches.
This is my son, Kenny Miller, and my lovely daughter, Casey?
Jesus.
We have the movie Plus One, starring the Uttara Phalguni native Jack Quaid, about two individuals who are tired of being single and awkward in parties and weddings, and so team up for the practical goal of appearing more respectable.
So, here you are.
getting married. Today's about Barb and Kyle.
Michael, Kiara,
Dave and Julia.
Now, we could actually, do this for all the weddings.
Do what?
I take you, you take me, win-win.
You're suggesting doubling down on weddings?
Of course, Uttara Phalguni also relates to arranged marriages and arranged relationships. And in the movie No Hard Feelings, we find a likely Uttara Phalguni father, played by Matthew Broderick, hiring a woman to go out with his son so that he can gain more experience with women. This movie was also directed by the likely Uttara Ashada Moon, Gene Stepniski.
And he's extremely bright.
Yeah, he's going to Princeton next year.
Oh, I've heard of it. He's an amazing musician, but he won't play for anyone. He's just having a lot of trouble socially.
He's always on his phone. He doesn't come out of his room. He doesn't have any friends. He doesn't talk to girls, doesn't drink, doesn't go to parties, doesn't drive, doesn't do anything that I did. Okay, then why don't you date Percy and the Buick is yours?
And just...
In the movie Failure to Launch, we find another hired woman, this one played by Kitka native Sarah Jessica Parker, whose job it is to inspire men to improve and become more ambitious, as men in relationships are not only perceived better, but they often do better. And the movie was also directed by the possibly Uttara Phalguni Moon native Tom Day.
Trip, as long as you're up, son. Oh, come on, Pop. You two have fun.
You live with your parents?
Is that a problem?
His parents want him out.
He's 35 years old. He still lives at home. That is not normal. I've lived upstairs since I was 3.
It's gonna take a stick of dynamite to get me out of my parents' house.
And there's only one person for the job.
I am a professional motivator. For many young men, self-esteem develops during a romantic relationship. So, I simulate one.
Can I have a drink tonight?
I can have your son moved out of this house by June 15th.
Hallelujah!
Take it you like Japanese food.
Oh, I love it. I'm also going to order a huge dessert, drink too much, and maybe talk about my old boyfriends. Does that intimidate you?
Oh, that's not easy to do.
For starters, you could make life a little more difficult for him.
Your bathroom needs cleaning. When you're done with the rubber gloves, turn them inside out.
Something's wrong with your mom.
Can I have a minute alone with him? Oh, emotional crisis day is so critical. Totally bonds us. What's his real name, anyway? I don't know. I just clean their teeth and chop off their... I had a nice time.
I did too.
Of course, the other stunning shutters can also be seen in these fake relationship tropes, where one individual teams up with another to pretend to be together for economic or political or social gain. In the 80s movie Can't Buy Me Love, we find the Uttara Shada native Patrick Dempsey making an agreement or verbal contract with a popular girl to have her date him for the purpose of increasing his status and reputation.
Cindy Mancini and Ronald Miller live on the same street, but they're in totally different worlds.
Wouldn't you like to be popular?
Cindy's hot, Ronald's not, but he's got a plan that could change all that.
I want to rent you.
Rent me?
Yeah. You pretend you like me, and we go out for just a few weeks.
Just going out with me is not going to make you popular.
Well, I have $1,000. It says it will.
Now, the biggest social transformation in history
No hand-holding, no kissing, and I get my lunch hour off.
is about to begin.
Okay, Donald, we're ready.
Listen, one last thing.
Yeah.
My name is Ronald, not Donald.
In fact, sometimes these individuals even trick their partner into pretending that they are more interested in them than they actually are, as a means of fulfilling their own selfish goal. In How to Lose a Guy in 10 Days, two individuals pretend to be falling in love with one another, but for ulterior purposes related to their own individual career advancements. They perform various romantic acts for one another, but despite these actions, they are emotionally removed from the facts. This movie stars the Uttara Shada native, Kate Hudson.
Magazine, our resident how-to girl. I want to read about things that matter.
What are you working on now?
How to lose a guy in 10 days. I could start by dating a guy and then drive him away.
Doing everything girls do wrong in relationships.
Hi, I'm Benjamin Barry.
Andy Anderson.
Oh, you are already falling in love with me.
I'm gonna make you wish you were dead.
Andy McDowell stars in the movie Green Card about a man who desires to remain in the US and sees marriage as an easy way to do this. Andy McDowell is a Critica native.
From Peter Weir, the director of Dead Poets Society, comes the story of two total strangers, who entered into a marriage of convenience.
I now pronounce you man and wife.
Bronte, is this true?
Yes, but it's not the way you think.
They thought they'd never have to see each other again until...
I'm with the investigation department of the INS.
The what?
The Immigration Service.
The government changed everything.
Let him move into my apartment. I can't believe you're saying that.
But if marrying a stranger doesn't shock you, then letting spend a couple of nights sleeping on the sofa, well, that shouldn't shock you either.
You don't know.
These movies are interesting when one considers the fact that the nakshatra of Uttara Phalguni has a lot to do with the signing of contracts and marriage negotiations, as again it relates to arranged marriages where people get together to maximize their power together or to benefit from the power of the more influential partner. People in a relationship are often perceived as more respectable, serious, grounded, and even more attractive. In my book, Sex and the Stars, I go into more detail about the sort of relationship dynamics that Uttara Phalguni nakshatra may have with other nakshatras. If you're curious to learn more about the romantic dynamics between nakshatras, please consider purchasing my book. It's interesting to find Uttara Phalguni playing the part of the other woman as well. We find Uttara Phalguni being so fixated on certain powerful men that even if said men find themselves in relationships or married, the Uttara Phalguni woman still pursues them, either to remain the other woman, but usually with the intention of replacing the current wife and becoming the second wife.
Because I don't want anyone else to have you.
Baby, I'm going to leave my wife. I love you.
I mentioned earlier that the Uttara Phalguni woman tends to be more romantically forward than other women of other nakshatras, being unafraid of going after the sort of men they desire.
Well, it'll get me more there than it will hanging on the wall.
In the film Red-Headed Woman, we find an early example of an Uttara Phalguni native, Jean Harlow, who desires to marry well and to live a life of ease, and so she pursues her boss, even though he's married.
Oh, there you are. Hey, hurry up with that, will ya? What's up? I'm ducking out.
Have a soda, Lily?
No, thanks. Listen, I'm on my way up to the boss's house with his mail. Why didn't his secretary do it? Because I swiped it off her desk. These are important and they've got to be answered right away. Maybe I'll get a chance to stay and take dictation. What'll that get you? Don't be dumb. His wife's in Cleveland. Say, Bill the gender's crazy about his wife. Well, he's a man, isn't he?
Red, this can't go on.
But why?
I love my wife. I've never loved anybody else. Why, we've been sweethearts ever since we were kids.
Yes, but she doesn't need to know about us.
Legender versus Legender. Mrs. Legender in court. Take the stand, please. You solemnly swear to tell the truth, the whole truth, nothing but the truth, so help you God?
I do.
Divorce granted.
Horse feathers.
Now look here, Red.
Ah, she gives me a pain in the teeth, trying to hang on to you when you're through with her.
You won't have him long. You caught him with sex, but sex isn't the only thing in life, and it doesn't last forever. And when it's gone, you'll lose him, because then he'll want love, and love is one thing you don't know anything about and never will.
By that dirty little cat.
The French Uttara Phalguni native Audrey Tautou plays the other woman herself in the movie He Loves Me Not, where she is convinced that the well-respected cardiologist she loves will eventually leave his wife and marry her.
Salut ma belle. Il est pas là ton cardiologue?
Si, il est là-bas avec ses collègues, il parle boulot. C'est un peu délicat en ce moment. Ils connaissent tous très bien sa femme ici.
Sa femme? Parce qu'en plus il est marié, super.
Ah oui, il y a une avocate, mais ça marche plus du tout. Il va la quitter. Faut juste être un peu patient, c'est tout.
There's even a scene where she is running after him without his knowing, and she's saddened to discover that his wife is pregnant and is convinced she got pregnant for the purpose of separating them.
Mais attends, j'ai dit qu'elle est enceinte au moins 5 mois. Mais ce bébé, elle l'a fait pour le piéger. T'as pas vu son cinéma avec son gros ventre? Elle fait tout pour l'empêcher de partir. S'il n'y avait pas de bébé, il l'aurait quitté depuis longtemps.
Tu crois vraiment qu'un homme va quitter sa femme et son bébé pour une étudiante? Une autre, c'est pas juste une aventure.
Donc il y a vraiment l'un à l'autre. Oh, mais vous n'êtes plus tout seul, il y a un bébé dans l'histoire.
The movie goes on to explore this tumultuous relationship, how she, as the other woman, celebrates anytime it seems as though the man she is with fights with his wife and is coming close to leaving her. It is generally said that married men and men in relationships are generally more attracted to women. Many speculate that this is some indication that a man is more capable of long-term commitment. Given that the Uttara Phalguni woman looks for signs that a man is fit for long-term union, at their worst, the Uttara Phalguni woman may be specifically interested in men who are married. Other reasons men in a relationship are perceived as more attractive is owing to the statistical fact that married men tend to earn more than their single counterparts and also have more successful careers, as having a wife and children serves as both a stabilizing force and an inspiration for men to grow in both economic and social power. And since economic and social power are qualities that the Uttara Phalguni woman looks for, it is understandable that the more morally loose among them would not only be attracted to, but also actively pursue men who are married. Uttara Phalguni native Kristen Fawcett also plays the other woman in the movie Sharpstick.
Moment. I was having an affair with a married man, and I know that makes me sound like I have no morals or scruples. I gave my soul and body to this man, and then just in an instant...
So sorry, baby. I'm so sorry. Sarah Jo, could you please go? Please?
In the cult series Gilmore Girls, there was a long narrative of the character Rory, played by Uttara Phalguni native Alexis Bledel, as the other woman.
Hey, what's going on? Dean came over to borrow something.
Yeah.
So, I'm almost done getting the CDs together. I picked a wide selection, so we'd have choices, and then I picked a bunch that probably only you will like, but it's good to have options.
So, what did he borrow? But he's married.
You don't understand the situation.
Is he still married?
Yes, but...
Then I understand the situation.
It's not working out between them. They're not happy.
Oh, Rory.
Well, he tried the best he could, but it didn't work. It's over.
He told you that?
Yes.
He told you he's leaving her?
Well...
He told you he's moving out. They're getting divorced. He's got a lawyer. They've divided up the monster truck season tickets.
We didn't get around to discussing everything.
You didn't get around to discussing everything?
He's Dean. My Dean.
He's not your Dean. He's Lindsay's Dean. You're the other woman.
I told you, it's over. He's in love with me, not Lindsay.
Does Lindsay know that?
She's not good for him, okay? She lets him quit school and work himself to death.
No, Rory, you can't be one of those girls who blames the wife for forcing the husband to cheat.
He wasn't cheating.
He was cheating, Rory. He was cheating.
To offer a famous example of a Critica native with the same behavior, we have Critica native Sarah Jessica Parker in her iconic role of Carrie Bradshaw, who plays the mistress to the powerful Mr. Big.
It was a force bigger than me, like Niagara Falls or something, you know?
No, I don't know. He's married.
I know he's married.
That makes you the other woman. You're the other woman.
I am not the other woman. I'm not. I mean, I know I am, but I am not that woman. Please, Charlotte. I feel bad enough already.
Good. You should feel bad. Do you ever think about how she'd feel if she found out?
Yes, I think about it all the time.
No, you don't. You think about what would happen to you if she found out. You don't think about her. She's just the idiot wife. You don't know anything about her.
Okay, in a minute, I'm gonna suffocate myself in this bubble wrap.
This isn't a joke, Carrie. They took vows. Vows he broke. I'm getting married in 3 weeks. How would you feel if someone did this to me?
Up until this point, we have discussed how the Uttara Phalguni woman may behave when she is single and in search of a worthy enough partner. But now in this section, we will discuss how the Uttara Phalguni female may behave when she is actually in a relationship, using an interesting trope, that of Lady Macbeth.
Come, you spirits. Attend on mortal thoughts. Unsex me here.
Unsex me here. And fill me from the crown to the toe, top full of direst cruelty. Come. You spirits that tend on mortal thoughts. Unsex Touch me here. And fill me from the crown to the toe top full of direst cruelty.
And fill me from the crown to the toe top full of direst cruelty. Make thick my blood. Stop up the access and passage to remorse, that no compunctious visitings of nature shake my fell purpose, nor keep peace between the effects and it.
The Uttara Phalguni woman may either involve herself with a man who is already powerful or participate in forging a powerful man. In my research, I have found that Sun Nakshatra women, but specifically Uttara Phalguni women, have really dominated this role, as most of the most famous renditions of Lady Macbeth throughout the years have been performed by them. The Uttara Phalguni female excels as queen consorts, the woman behind the powerful man, who is secretly orienting him in his affairs and orchestrating his success. Though many an Uttara Phalguni woman would rather end up in a relationship with a man who is already powerful and already successful, she also may choose a relationship with a man who she identifies as having a great deal of potential for success. She takes him like a diamond in the rough and then refines him, operating like his strategic queen, planning his future, encouraging him to go after greater power.
Oh, honey, I thought I told you not to wear that top.
Thought you meant just that one time.
No, darling, I meant never. But for now, we have important matters to discuss.
Oh.
You know that big Christmas party that McDonald hosts every year?
Yeah, well, I've heard about it, but I've never been. It's only for the firm's senior partners and biggest clients.
Well, I ran into Mrs. McDonald at the Huntington Library luncheon, and I convinced her that it's time someone else take on the burden of throwing that party. And that someone is you.
What? I'm hosting a Christmas party? Sweetie, I'm not a senior partner.
So you can appreciate the magnitude of what I just pulled off. William, do you want to be a senior partner or not?
Of course I do.
Well, I did not spend my day arranging for you to host this party to have you tell me you'd rather play Santa for some secretary's brat.
Charlie cares about his number one, him and his. That's right, Charlie is Charlie, and you're not.
We have respect.
Charlie respects the fat end of a bat, the sharp end of a stick. Charlie respects what he fears. And that ain't you. Why do you have to wait for other people to give you? Why does everything always have to pass through somebody else's hands? Show a little ambition.
Stop it, all right? I'm as ambitious as the next guy. More, all right?
Tell me you don't want it. If I was the man, I'd know what to do.
Wouldst thou have that which thou esteemest the ornament of life, and live a coward in thine own esteem? Letting I dare not, wait upon I would.
A pretty piece! I dare to do all that may become a man. Who dares do more is done.
What beast was it, then, that made you break this enterprise to me? When you durst do it, then you were a man.
We will proceed no further with this business.
This party is your chance to rise to the senior partner's level socially. Once you've done that, it's just a small step to rise professionally.
I hate to disappoint that kid.
Plus, you'll have FaceTime with them to suggest that you are the man for the Citigroup case you've been jockeying for.
Oh, what the hell, Jabari's hate? Time he learned the truth about Santa Claus.
After everything I've done, everything my parents have done, all the money, all the opportunities we've given you, you would be nowhere. Nowhere without me. Nowhere without this family. Do something, John. Be a man for once in your life and just take responsibility for the things that you destroy.
How can you become the paperclip king when you don't care a whit about work? You haven't once asked me about Mr. Graydon's interest in your paperclips. You can't be happy-go-lucky all the time. You've got to buckle down and make something of yourself. You're not getting any younger. Be serious, Jimmy. What's to become of you? You've got to show some get up and go.
I promise I'll bring our latest paperclips round to show your boss first thing next week.
꾸며놓으면 괜찮을 인물인데. 김인철, 꼭 고시만 패스해라. 그럼 내가 네 소원 다 들어줄게. 이번이 마지막이야. 이번에도 떨어지면 선배 다시는 안 볼 거야.
Playing the role of networker and hostess to ensure that her partner mingles with other powerful and well-connected people, and generally helping him to implement his strategies.
Charm, I'm slaving away here, making everything you like. Eating clams, shrinking every rada, cabozel. What I must look like.
You look fantastic, absolutely.
Starting with a very early example, we have Constance Collier, who is both an Uttara Phalguni moon and Uttara Shada native, who starred in the 1916 Macbeth. Unfortunately, this silent film is considered lost media, and all that seems to remain are pictures depicting this Uttara Phalguni native as Lady Macbeth. Harriet Walter, Uttara Phalguni's Sun native, played Macbeth in a 2001 movie. Though it is Macbeth himself that receives the prophecy of greatness, it is his wife that plays a more instrumental role than even he himself in bringing about his own success.
Oh, God, no more. I'm afraid to think what I have done. Look on it again. I dare not. Infernal purpose!
Give me the dagger. The sleeping and the dead are but those pictures. 'Tis the eye of childhood that fears a painted devil. If he do bleed, I'll gild the faces of the grooms withal, for it must seem their guilt. Give me the daggers.
The sleeping and the dead are but as pictures. 'Tis the eye of childhood that fears a painted devil.
I did it. But from before that, he was across the way.
What are you doing with that?
You're supposed to leave it. Give it to me. Michael, give it to me. Give it to me. Go, fix yourself. Go on. Go on.
Lady Macbeth, as an Uttara Phalguni archetype, desires to make concretes, make tangible, make manifest all the ambitions of her partner. The terrestrial plane is feminine in orientation, as the celestial plane is masculine in orientation. What it means to be successful in the terrestrial plane is to gain an understanding and dominion over matter. Uttara Phalguni as the ideal wife is the ideal female for the powerful male, as she makes him powerful by first identifying in him his potential for power and then working to turn this power concretes. The opera singer Iana Tamar plays Lady Macbeth in the opera created by Giuseppe Verdi, and she is of course an Uttara Phalguni native herself. Indira Varma, another Uttara Phalguni native, also played Macbeth in a 2024 version. These women are some of the main ones to push their husbands into greater power, either through charm and gentleness or through goading them in other ways.
We will proceed no further in this business. He hath honoured me of late, and I have bought golden opinions from all sorts of people, which would be worn now in their newest gloss, not cast aside so soon.
Was the hope drunk wherein you dressed yourself? Hath it slept since? And wakes it now to look so green and pale at what it did so freely? From this time such I count thy love. Art thou afeard to be the same in thine own act and valour as thou art in desire? Wouldst thou have that which thou esteem'st the ornament of life, and live a coward in thine own esteem, letting I dare not wait upon I would, like the poor cat in the adage?
Prithee, peace. I dare do all that may become a man. Who dares do more is none.
Oh, what beast was then that made you break this enterprise to me? When you durst do it, then you were a man.
These women, owing to how hard they are to get, also inspire men to develop themselves, in terms of gaining more economic and political power, either by directly telling them that they should improve themselves in those respects, or by simply acting so hard to get that the men must force themselves to become more economically and politically powerful in order to achieve her.
Joan, I know what kind of woman Monica is, and I like it. She's connected. Her father's got a street named after her. Her father's best friends with her firm's biggest client. She can open doors for me, Joan. And you know what? I like the fact that she could have anybody she wants, and she wants me. William Dent. And it feels damn good.
William, that woman doesn't love you.
So? I don't love her either.
Well, then what's the point?
The point is, Joan, I want success, and she can take me there.
Kate Fleetwood, yet another Uttara Phalguni Sun native, plays Macbeth in a 2010 version of the famous Shakespearean tale. One of the most common ways the Uttara Phalguni helps to implement the goals of her husband is through playing the hostess, exploiting her connections and throwing parties and other fun and playful social events that actually serve the secret purpose of helping her husband become more acquainted with powerful people. The Uttara Phalguni wife is the feminine making material, the lofty goals of her partner. It's interesting that in Claire Nocte's explorations, she has described Hasta Nakshatra as making material the desires that come from the divine itself, whereas Uttara Phalguni is making material the desires and ambitions of her own husband, sometimes seemingly even against his own will. She wants a great man, to marry a great man, or even to forge a great man. The type of men that gravitate towards Uttara Phalguni are those hungry for power, but struggling to attain it, though they have great potential. They see within the Uttara Phalguni woman an intelligent and strategic partner that can directly or indirectly give him the external power he seeks. What he also appreciates about the Uttara Phalguni woman is that she cloaks herself under the performance of femininity, to give the public the impression that her partner is the powerful and intelligent one, when in fact she is the queen, the woman behind the throne, the woman behind the strong man. I write more about Uttara Phalguni and the performance of femininity as a social strategy on my Patreon, where I go on about their love of the clothing and their intelligent and strategic use of their feminine power for personal gain. Whereas other types of women often struggle with their femininity, as they struggle to reconcile concepts of power and authority with femininity, the Uttara Phalguni woman recognizes the inherent advantages of her femininity and uses it to her advantage.
Look at all this pink, don't you just love it?
Where other types of women are afraid of coming across as weak if they dare to wear pink, for instance, the Uttara Phalguni woman turns softness and gentleness into a weapon, and she doesn't mind giving her male partner the impression that he is in charge, so long as she is the one leading him.
Your face, my vein, is as a book where men may read strange matters. To beguile the time, look like the time. Bear welcome in your eye, your hand, your tongue. Look like the innocent flower, but be the serpent under it.
To beguile the time, look like the time. Bear welcome in your eye, your hand, your tongue. Look like the innocent flower, but be the serpent under it.
Catherine Borowitz is a likely Uttara Phalguni moon, and she plays in a modern adaptation of the play Macbeth in the movie Men of Respect, filling the role that is meant to be Lady Macbeth. Though her husband is the one with only a feeble ambition and not too much direction, it is the Uttara Phalguni archetype Lady Macbeth that develops this ambition further, and better than that, gives a clear path to its success.
He's throwing you a bone because he's desperate.
He's shown me respect, all right? I should enjoy it already.
Charlie's just keeping you down. The D'Amicos are always going to keep you down. It makes me sick how they use you. You do everything. They do nothing. But they have everything, and we don't have anything. If you could take it from them, take it. You deserve it. I want you to have it.
Though it is Macbeth that dreams of being king, it is Lady Macbeth that makes it happen by developing the plan to murder the current king so that Macbeth may take his place. Zoe Cadwell is yet another Uttara Phalguni native that plays Lady Macbeth in the 1961 version. There are some men who may show themselves resistant to the influence of the Uttara Phalguni queen consort archetype because they sense a sort of manipulative tendency in her.
You have not answered my nephew's letters.
Just because your nephew is the King of Spain, does he think I have nothing better to do?
You know he advises you to sign a treaty with the Emperor, recognizing France as our mutual enemy. He also advises you not to heed everything Wolsey tells you, because Wolsey is so biased for the French.
Since when are you a diplomat?
I am my father's daughter.
You are my wife. You are not my minister. You are not my chancellor. But my wife.
But often, the Uttara Phalguni queen consort is more careful, more discreet in how she offers her advice and steers her husband if she notices this sort of personality. Another Uttara Phalguni native to look at before ending this video is Kris Jenner, as her life story really fits in perfectly with the various Uttara Phalguni themes we have explored. Kris Jenner almost plays a Lady Macbeth type figure in her family and past marriage, in that she was the not-so-secret power behind the power, or queen behind the king. She also has shown herself as very hypergamous in her younger years. In her autobiography, she would repeatedly say that since her youth, her dream was to find a rich man, get married, and have some kids, and she would purposely frequent areas in town where she knew the wealthy would lounge, in order to learn their ways, imitate them, and of course fish for the wealthy man she desired. And so even from a young age, she focused on older men who were established, of high status, and of higher economic class, and she would even compare them to the boys of her age, as she was 17 at the time. And she remarked that in comparison to the older, wealthier men, the boys her age were far less interesting with little to offer her. There is her marriage to Bruce Jenner, now known as Caitlyn, where she took on another Uttara Phalguni theme, that of managing her husband and his career from behind the scenes, playing the passive wife for the cameras, but really acting as the mastermind. It is reported that Kris Jenner was responsible for Bruce Jenner's estrangement from his wife, his estrangement from his biological children, and for firing his manager. It is alleged that Kris Jenner began taking complete control over Bruce Jenner's life, reminiscent of the accusations suffered by Uttara Phalguni native Meghan Markle and her husband, Prince Harry. Meghan Markle is of course also made out to seem sneaky and controlling of her partner, but pretending to be passive and naive in front of the cameras. Hopefully sooner rather than later, we will explore more specifically the charts of male Uttara Phalguni natives and the ways in which their behavior is similar and different to the females. I thank you all for being so patient in waiting for this video. Please like and comment and share this video to promote it if you like it. Thank you for watching.